Welcome to my sacred space. I want to share with you how Spirit guided me not only through my intuition, but taught me how sometimes the greater wisdom is to bypass the mental body's conversation with that intuition, because not always, but often enough, our humanity starts in our mental dialogue, starts to figure out reasons why we shouldn't listen to our intuition, why it's a benefit not to, and gives us a lot of reasons that we either consciously are aware of or unconsciously struggling with to not deal with going straight to the source, which is your feeling body, your trusting body, and a place of knowing. As an example to you, not always, but in this one instance, more often than not though, I was told by Spirit in my intuition and audibly to go to a metaphysical bookstore. And this was in my later teens, 20s. And Spirit said, go now. And had I not listened to that, had I stopped and figured out or put it through my mental body, reasons why I shouldn't, why I couldn't, or reasons, just reasons, that would have not only delayed my arrival, but they would have caused me possibly to not show up at all, my life would have been very different. I'm not saying that if you go through your mental body in regards to your intuition that you're going to experience something bad or negative. You're just going to experience something different than what could have been. And so for this example, Spirit said, go to this bookstore, which I knew of, and go now. And so I got in the car and I drove there. And when I arrived, I felt the intuition that I was there to ask for and inquire about a job. Didn't really know what that entailed or the title of it, but I was interested. I really enjoyed the atmosphere of that bookstore and would have loved to have been a part of it. And so I walked into the bookstore and the owner was on the phone, and she looked at me and I looked up at her, and she did a hand movement like, go ahead and tell me what it is you have to tell me. And I kind of mouthed to her and didn't even get to finish, I'm looking for a job. And she put her hand up and she mouthed, you're hired. What was happening right when I walked in is she was on the phone with her only employee that was quitting. And so there was a connection, and the timing of it was not only symbolic for me, clearly, because it validated yet another reason that validated my reasoning and trust with Spirit to listen to that guidance and act on it. But it also was a validation to her because the timing was aligned for her ability to recognize that it was a divine orchestration of events, so to speak. So not only was she listening, but so was I, and the individual on the phone as well. And so it was a really incredible time in my life. I loved working at that bookstore. And I will say, as I often do, that had I not experienced or lived a lot of the experiences myself that I had in that bookstore, with the soul and the spirit of the store and the consciousness of the store as well, I wouldn't have believed a lot of what transpired for me, and that opened my eyes to what is possible in this physical dimension. And I'll share more about that later. But I was able to be in an environment that fed my soul, my spirit. It gave me information and access to thousands of books from every subject matter you could possibly imagine, as well as a very peaceful environment with wonderful music playing and a very positive fueled interaction that I was able to have. So I invite you, when your intuition is calling out to you, if it resonates, of course, to listen to your intuition and act on it sometimes and see what that offers you, versus putting it through your mental body and giving yourself a list of reasons why you wouldn't and you shouldn't and you couldn't. Don't talk yourself out of what your higher guidance is trying to help you achieve. Because sometimes it takes trusting that higher guidance, that intuitive voice, to help you recognize that the dream or the goal, the desire that you have is reachable. And so I stand here today to inspire you to know that whether it is a job, a phone call, something that makes you nervous, whether it's talking to a relative, or it's about moving into a place maybe out of your comfort zone and into a little bit of what's unknown, I invite you, if nobody else does in your life, to take that next step with yourself and allow yourself to experience what's possible. Because sometimes when we go with our minds and we don't go straight to the source, I'm not saying that the source doesn't work through the mind, it does, but be careful, because be careful, I think I heard this the other day, it was written somewhere, be careful how you talk to yourself because you're listening. And so be mindful that you're either inspiring yourself or you're shutting yourself down. And so maybe there's a balance in between. So a lot of the steps that I've been guided to take in my life, I had no construct or understanding or idea of sometimes what it meant or what it would offer me. And I now look back on that they were extreme blessings that opened my eyes and my life and my being to so much more than what possibly would have given me reason not to. So thank you for joining me today, and blessings on your journey. And I hope the next time that Spirit knocks on your door that you answer with trust, and remember this dialogue, that there's a divine timing of alignment, and if you choose that, more likely than not, you will be grateful. Blessings.